You know, we have seen historically a lot of Democrats, they turn to the guys at Saturday Night Live or The Tonight Show. They write all their material. Your material is real funny. Who wrote it? Who helped you with it?
Well, I've had a lot of people helping. A couple of people from Fox, actually. I shouldn't say that, but they wrote some jokes. And for the most part, I didn't like any of them.
Did you see some highlights? I think you did great.
Go ahead.
Just a snippet of that softball interview with the ex-president on the comfy, cozy Fox and Friends couch, which, you know, is beginning to look like the only media he's comfortable doing just 18 days out from a presidential election. We should note Fox News has denied Trump's claim that they assisted with writing his jokes at the Al Smith dinner. And a few minutes after that admission, Trump then lashed out at his friends at Fox for not being pro-Trump enough. Take a listen.
You know the difference? In the old days, you never played negative ads. In other words, when I leave here, I'll then be hit by 5 or 6 ads. And in the old days, you never had Ian
Fox
Sams.
News.
Yeah. Well, in the old days. But in the old days, which wasn't so... when I leave, I'll have 12 people from Kamala on, and, you know, pretty much unopposed. For 19 days, I don't think we should do that anymore. I think that you shouldn't play negative ads.
Because they buy time on Fox.
And, you know, by the time you do it, you say, what are you doing? It's sort of a net, net neutral. You know what the event I have now?
No.
A very big event. I'm going to see Rupert Murdoch.
Okay.
That's a big event. I don't know if he's thrilled that I say it.
Please tell him we all said thank you.
I'm going to tell him something very simple because I can't talk to anybody else about it. Don't put on negative commercials for 21 days. Don't put them. And don't put on their horrible people that come and lie. I'm going to say, Rupert, please do it this way.
Right.
And then we're going to have a victory because I think everyone wants that.
We are back with Mara, Rev, and Charlie. Rev, when you have Donald Trump complaining that the most pro-Trump network is not Trumpy enough to his liking, what does that tell you?
It tells me that he knows he's in serious trouble. He's already trying to build a narrative that he's going to run the night that he feels he will be defeated. He's going to blame negative ads. He's going to blame voter fraud. He's going to blame that immigrants that came across the border sponsored by the Democrats and voted. He's trying to build a narrative now that will be what would be anybody else that was someone that was respectable in politics would be their concession speech. This will be his blame speech. And he's rehearsing it now because that's what he feels he'll have to deliver on November 5th after they try to go through every court challenge they can. If anybody knows that Donald Trump has lost it and losing it will probably losing the election, it is Donald Trump. He knows. It's like a performer getting on stage. You know when you can't hit the notes anymore. I don't care how loud the band plays. You can't sing no more, Donald.
We got singing, we got dancing. Mara, you'd be forgiven if you did not catch this, but Fox News hosted an all-women town hall with Trump. Here's some evidence of their cozy relationship with Trump. According to CNN, one attendee said, quote, "I want to thank you for coming to a room full of women the current administration would consider domestic terrorists." A woman named Alicia said to laughter from the audience before a question about foreign policy. But a portion of that question was edited by Fox News to remove her admission that she was voting for Trump. Quote, "I proudly cast my vote for you today. I hope they count it," she added, according to an audio recording from a CNN reporter who was in attendance. There's the question, of course, of what the purpose is of hosting a town hall where people are already in the tank for him. But there's also something to him going on a podcast, complaining about the press, then coming on a friendly network and complaining to them in front of millions about the fact that they're not being sufficiently in the tank for him.
You know, I'm not sure that we talk enough in general in this country about the kind of standards that journalists are meant to uphold. Yeah, every politician has certain networks, certain newspapers, certain media outlets that he or she would rather talk to than others. That is normal. But I think it's important to be clear that Donald Trump's relationship with Fox News is not normal. And that's both true in terms of Fox News's selective editing and its kind of gratuitous protecting of this bubble that Donald Trump has created around himself and his base, and the lies, the twisted narrative, all of that. But the thing that's more chilling is that I think this question of Donald Trump suggesting he's going to speak to Rupert Murdoch about making sure there's no negative ads, that gives us a hint at what Donald Trump as president may seek to do to control the narrative and to exert pressure on journalistic organizations in the United States, Fox News or not. That is chilling, and I don't think we can talk enough about it, because it sounded like a threat. And this is, again, as you said, Alicia, he's talking to his friends.
Yeah, he's talking to his friends here, Charlie, and so I want you to take a listen to something else he said to those friends, because they were asking him about potentially courting Nikki Haley voters, bringing Haley on the campaign trail. Take a listen to that exchange.
There's a segment of the Republican Party that likes Nikki Haley, and they are reluctant to jump into your column. She wants to help. She said, if he calls me, I'm there. You guys used to be tight. In the last 18 days, will you call her and say, come out with me?
Yeah. Nikki Haley and I fought, and I beat her by 50, 60, 90 points. I beat her in her own state by numbers that nobody's ever been beaten by. And they keep talking about Nikki. I like Nikki. Nikki, I don't think should have done what she did.
So I'm not sure if the most amazing thing, Charlie, is what he said or the reporting that just flashed across my screen as we're on air. NBC News reporting that, according to two sources familiar with the planning, that Nikki Haley is in talks to join Donald Trump on the campaign trail. Can you imagine having someone who could be a really useful, powerful surrogate for you and then just dumping on them for 90 seconds straight? Yes, it's a lack of strategy, but my goodness.
Yeah, not exactly on message. Look, I mean, the easy answer would have been, of course, I want those voters. I want all of those voters. And, you know, this also comes at a time when Kamala Harris is making a very, very concerted play for those Haley voters. She, you know, had the big rally with Republicans for Harris in Pennsylvania. She's going to be traveling around the country with Liz Cheney, and they're aiming at those soft Republicans. And so what does Donald Trump do? He just dumps on Nikki Haley. But, you know, this is Donald Trump. He has no impulse control. So you saw so many different aspects of Trump in those clips you just played. You have the thin-skinned man baby, but you also have the authoritarian bully that Fox is in the tank for him. But in Trump world, you just cannot suck up hard enough. And to Mara's point, yes, it's chilling what he's demanding from the networks, but even more chilling has been his campaign to say that CBS, for example, should be stripped of its license because they allegedly edited an interview, as if Fox never edits any interviews whatsoever. So this is one of those where Donald Trump can look like a thin-skinned man baby, but is also dangerous because he will have the ability, or he thinks he has the ability, to use the power of the federal government to attack and to punish anyone in the media that questions him or even has people on the air that would question him.
Or takes money for ads, as is custom practice